arrested. Two, the communication at the presidency said that they will get him arrested. They are not interested. He said they are not interested in the matter. They will set him as an example. Then the deputy NACOP boss sat on the TV and said that they will have no option than to arrest him. And the next day, they actually went to his house in the
They talked about the invitation to that. I didn't get that clear. They said they had invited him. He said he's not been invited. I was wondering whether the invitation was secret. Honorable Minister of State.
Invitation
to the MP, because now there's a contention that he's been invited.
There's no invitation. I can.
He said he's not been invited. Yes, the security people say they've been invited. He's been invited. So it does appear the invitation is a secret.
No, it looks like the president's directive. They amounted the president's directive to an invitation, which I have a problem with that.
So they sidestepped the president's
appearing before?
Who is it going
because
to?
we have several security agencies.
Where is it going?
I don't have the internal details of the invitation.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have.
But there should have been an invitation.
There should have been an invitation.
But there has not been any official invitation.
There should have been an invitation. Simply. Yeah. And even there should have been. Yes, an invitation is an invitation. It could be communicated to him in written form
or by phone call.
By phone call.
So come to this place on this date at this time and meet this person
and will assist us in the investigation. Exactly. If it is by phone call and he's not comfortable, he can say, "Can you reduce
it to writing?"
To writing. And so these are all standard procedure. And in fact, talking about standard procedure, you know the searches that were conducted on the plane were not in response to Ntim Fojo's allegation.
No, it was standard procedure. They need to keep those exhibits because of future reference.
It was standard
procedure. Because of the state interest in or the public interest in the matter, they were forced to release him. And because time has passed, the doubt.
Because it's about 2 weeks, nobody was speaking from the airport, the security agents.
I actually expected the technical agents.
Yeah, but if he was even invited by phone, for me, I have been invited by National Security.
And that's fine.
It was on a Friday. I was out of town. So I gave them the next day, Saturday, 10 a.m. And they agreed. The Saturday, 10 a.m., I went and met them.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So, Franklin, you have the final word on this. What should be the next approach? You said you think we should move on. Maybe not. Kutin says, no, we should deal with it, get to the bottom of it. He thinks that commission of inquiry will be correct. I don't know about that. I don't know what you think.
Well, I think we've discussed this enough. At this juncture, let's have Mr. Reverend Team tell us exactly what he has. Because in any case, he went to the public anyway. So, and then let's let this matter rest. I think it's just too distracting.
I see. All right, I'm wondering how the next is going to look like. I'm wondering how the next is going to look like because we have a press conference from Ntim Fojo on this matter, and I don't know what he's going to say. We hear he's going to address the press on Monday or Tuesday. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know whether he's going to bring out evidence. I don't know whether he's going to retreat or resile from the allegations, which is very unlikely at this point, given how we run our system in this country. So it does appear that this is going to travel for another 1 more week. Frankly.
Well, let's wait until he does this press conference. I doubt you do it.
All right. So a few of your messages before I take a break. A few of your messages that have come through. This one from Evans Odum in Community 28 says that, Selom, what are the functions of the national security? Is that how to gather intelligence? Prince Henry in Koforidua says, good morning. He who alleges must prove. So the proof of burden is on Reverend Ntim Fojo, and he must make himself available for questioning and answering. The MPP must know that no one is above the laws of Ghana and must remember that they subjected the current president to scrutiny and investigation on the Airbus scandal. So why is the MPP acting as if Ntim Fojo is a special person that cannot be questioned or invited? The era of misinformation is over. God bless our homeland Ghana. That is Prince Henry in Koforidua. But yes, we are taking a break. But Alaji, he can appear if they summon him, but he will not talk.
Oh yes.
He can appear. They will ask him questions. He will not talk. He will be there the whole time, and he will go home. He would have appeared anyway. So what then would you have done with that? Or we will deduct from it and make our own inferences and conclusions?
First of all, Ntim Fojo, or Reverend Ntim Fojo, or Honorable Reverend Ntim Fojo, is not being invited as an accused person. Yes. No one has said that he is behind anything.
Okay.
So he's just to assist in investigations. So again, it comes back to, if he appears before the committee and refuses to talk, then what would have been his motive in the first place? It's not being, he's not a criminal. It's just that what he has done has caught us by surprise. That look, this responsible, duty-bound citizen of this country has said things that ought to have been done in a certain way, and that it should help us to understand where he's coming from, why he made those. And so, yes, if he goes there and says, look, this is information, look, as lawyers or affidavit, we act on information and belief. Not so?
Yes.
That's how affidavit. We act on information and belief. And we swear to that because my client has told me A, B, C,
I verily believe him to be true.
I verily believe him to be true. And that is why I acted the way I've acted. That's why I've acted the way I've acted.
In this case, somebody from the state,
somebody from the state doing law,
somebody from the state, and very strong member of government is telling you that they will use you as an example.
No. So what I'm saying is that,
and they ask you to come.
What I'm saying
why
is that,
you go there? Because they want to use you as a
the nuances of politics.
So yes, so that fear too is also there. What do they want to do?
I can give you many examples of myself. You know, when MPP was in power, I was sitting in my office, Parliament, and 3 gentlemen came and told me that somebody had been busted at Heathrow Airport on money laundering, and that in a short while we will hear the repercussions. I didn't bring out the information until in Belgium, a bank in Belgium closed the accounts of the Ghana embassy in Belgium on grounds of money laundering. And the European Union started putting pressure on Ghana to pass the Anti-Money Laundering Act.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then I made the revelation. When I made the revelation, everyone broke loose. They didn't invite me, the government spokesperson. And I didn't say government official. In my revelation, the people who gave me the information did not tell me a government official.
Okay, if you had indicated government official, then but this one would have been government official too.
No, what I'm saying is that, but you are now challenging that. So I see a lot of inconsistency in the position of MPP. Kojo Pong Kurma was the one who responded.
Great.
To my allegation.
When you had this, I'm getting information that one of our guys have been picked at
because of national security consideration until such a time.
In connection with this matter.
Yes, that's Zaku Mohammed or so.
In connection with this matter.
I don't know which, but that is it fake news or whatever.
I see. We'll get to
Zaku Mohammed.
Well, he went to the hospital and he was picked up.
I don't know how.
Let's get more information. We don't know what is happening. Let's get more information. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll deal with Bawku and then move on to Galamsey. This is the big issue, 97.3 City FM. Don't go away.
This Easter, be the light in a child's life. As we gather with family and share meals and beautiful moments this Easter, let us not forget the little ones who have no one, no mother's hug, no father's voice, no warm bowl of food to return to, no pencil to write their dreams with, no exercise book to call their own. They are orphaned, vulnerable, alone. But with your help, we can change that. Support the Easter Orphan Project and give these children some hope to hold on to. Your donation in cash or kind will help provide warm meals, decent clothes, school supplies, and the care every child needs to grow. Because even the simplest things, soap, gari, clean bed sheets, a pair of sandals, these things cost more than many orphanages can bear on their own. How can you help? Send money via mobile money to 0550 900 006 or write a check to the City FM Foundation. You could also bring your donation to City FM behind the Adabraka Police Station. Visit www.citynewsroom.com or call 0550 900 006 or 0302 226 013 for more information. You can also give milk, sugar, bags of rice, toys, books, detergent, whatever you can share. Get together with your friends, involve your church, spread the word, because every child deserves more than survival. They deserve love, dignity, and a fighting chance at life. This Easter, let your kindness light up a child's life. Will you be that light? The Easter Orphan Project is powered by 97.3 City FM with support from ChannelOne TV.
Where politics meets power, where the tough questions are asked, welcome to Face to Face. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m., join Umaru Sanda Amadou as he takes you face to face with the key players shaping the future of our nation.
I lost over $10 million at the trade fair.
You had a fight with the management of trade fair?
I don't have a fight with them. I just deplore the way they went about what they did.
Let's talk about the chief prosecutor of the state at the time that you were being prosecuted, Godfrey Yeboah Dame, the Attorney General.
Yes. I think he was directed to jail us.
By who?
By the system.
Bawku has been a failure for your government, though.
Can't be a failure.
You have not solved it.
No, you are not praising them, the previous government for solving Yendi, which was even a more difficult case.
It's quite obvious that from these votes, the people felt that let's just let you go.
So they were disappointed in
us.
You are essentially the worst government in the Fourth Republic.
I don't know how you are doing that. If you based on the indicators.
Yes, based on the number of people who refuse to come and vote for you.
If that is your analysis, then why not?
No filter, no boundaries, just the truth behind the headlines. Deep, bold, and unflinching. Face to Face with Umaru Sanda Amadou airs on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on ChannelOne TV, where politics gets real.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Big Issue on 97.3 City FM and on ChannelOne Television. We're also live on our social media platforms. My guest this morning, Inusa Fuseni, Honorable former MP, Tamale Central, former Minister of State for many portfolios, Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary, MPP, and Franklin Kujo. Also, we have security analyst Emmanuel Kutin here. We just finished discussing the matter of the Intim Fojo security raid and all of that, evidence or not. We just concluded on that. Let me take two messages that have come through among the lot, and we move on to the next subject, which is the security situation in Bawku. This week has not been very healthy for them. We'll do a short one on that, and we'll move on to the discussion of Galamsey. Now, Alhaji Hamza from Pick Farm says, good morning, my brother. To me, what the minority and Mr. Intim Fojo is doing is much ado about nothing. The issue of the cocaine and money laundering was cooked and planned just to tarnish the image of government. My brother, to me, the statement issued by the Ghana Airport Company Limited has put this matter to a better end. According to Intim Fojo, he has picked Intel. Now he has picked Intel, and now he said he is acting on suspicions. They should stop insulting our intelligence and credit us with some little respect we deserve in this country. We have a country to govern, you see. Chris in Ashalebutre says, Selam, it's very nauseating listening to hypocritical MPP folks talk about intimidation. They are delinquents and hoodlums invaded polling stations in the House of West Wagon in Rambo style during a by-election and shot innocent citizens for fun. But no Latter-day Saints condemn these actions like they are doing today. Should we call them hypocrites, or do they only reason properly in opposition? That's Chris from Shalebutri. Now, there's been some issues in Bawku. One person was shot dead, supposedly by a security person. The young people of the area, the youth of the area, got angry and also went on rampage, burning houses and doing all sorts of things. They burned the Bawku commander's house and burned or attacked or touched the houses of MP for Pusiga, and we are here in Ayariga. We're not sure about that yet, but a lot of things have happened. IGP, Inspector General of Police, Christian Tetoyohunu, visited a place with his men and made a few comments. Those comments themselves have been some subject of debate and controversy. Let's hear what IGP Christian Tetoyohunu said, and then we'll come back to the studio and do a quick analysis on the situation in Bawku.
We are appealing to you to lay down your arms, have confidence in us, so that together we'll work and then we'll bring peace to this area. We assure you that when it comes to recruitment, we'll give the people of Bawku priority. We'll give the youth of Bawku priority. And so for that matter, a special team will come here to do special recruitment for people of the youth of Bawku. If we get them, I'm sure some of them have helped us a lot in international communities, in international peacekeeping. I know, and there are names only that I will not mention, who have worked diligently, and those who have retired, they also work together with us to make sure that we work together to bring peace here.
For him.
All right, so that's the IGP. He visited the area and he made a few comments. He said he will give priority to the Bawku young people when they want to, to the security, to the police. That statement didn't sit well with a lot of people, but that's fine. Let's look at the Bawku situation generally. Let me start off with you, Emmanuel Kuting. The Bawku situation is an age-long problem. Mamprusis, Kusasis, etc. Historically and all of that. I don't know whether we've moved on, but it does appear that recently there was some chief that the Mamprusis installed to be the overlord of Bawku, and that triggered the recent wave, and that's what we are still dealing with. Because the courts came in, back and forth, Court of Appeal, etc. But we're still dealing with that. How should we deal with this Bawku crisis?
Well, Salam, it's a very sad development, especially in the last few weeks. It's been very hard on the indigenes of Bawku. But I think, once again, politics is at play here. And if you look at the Kusasi youth today, it is not about mistrust with the security personnel. It has moved to a sense of entitlement. Given the political promises certain parties in court, whether MPP or NDC, made to them. And you see, a perception has been created that the Mampreshis are MPP prone and the Kusasis are NDC prone. And that has made it very difficult to bring any solution to the Bawku conflict. I've always called that we can use the Dagbon experiment in Bawku, except that the Dagbon experiment was about secession. And it has to take the law courts to pronounce a judgment on it, and there was a political will, and it was enforced. I think in the Bawku case, it doesn't lie in my mouth to say who is a legitimate or illegitimate chief in Bawku. If I do that, I'll lose my sense of impartiality, given that an opportunity comes and I'm being invited to mediate in the conflict. So this is what we have to do, and rightly so, the president has set the tone. I think this tone was set by the former administration before His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo exited. We had made calls for some kind of peace-building mechanism to kickstart. And I had posited that we can't keep recycling the same strategies and expecting different results. So in the circumstances, the government of the day should look at alternative dispute resolution outside the security mechanics. So the torchlight fell on His Eminence Otumfuo because he has done it before. And I think he started some form of negotiations with the feuding factions. He even invited them to Kumasi. And because of political expediency, and rightly so, because my senior brother, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, was the presidential candidate of the NPP, I think they slowed down on that because of political ramification, because he wouldn't have been seen as a neutral player. And I commend him solely. You know, he went to Bawku. Yeah. And that was so telling. I was happy that, look, the saturation point of getting peace in Bawku was then. But because it was so close to elections, it was left. I'm happy the president have taken the initiative to continue the process. In the process of dialoguing, I think that we also have to explore the legal aspect. Because if we don't run to our courts to pronounce a definite judgment on this matter, enforcement to become a challenge. Because the Mambrichis are saying they had a Supreme Court ruling that gives their chief as the legitimate chief of Bawku. The Kusas are also having the same Supreme Court judgment. So our court has to somehow be circumspect. So now we have to create an opportunity where we harmonize the various court rulings and see which ruling will stand the test of the day. And what that happens, the government should have the political will to enforce the orders of the court. We are in a democracy. The Mamprisi chief that was escorted to Bawku, I think it was quite problematic. But given that the Kusasis felt that they had a Supreme Court ruling making their chief the legitimate chief of Bawku, they should have resorted to the legal process where they could go to court and seek a contempt judgment against the other chief. I heard in various fora of the Mamprisi, the Kusasi you saying the Mamprisi chief is an illegal chief and an imposter on their land. And how do you test that? We are in democracy, and democracy is about the enforcement of laws. Is that not it? Go to the law court, test that processes, and when you get a judgment, I think the government or the security agencies will have the grounds to enforce him. As it is now, I'm pleading with the president. You know that this conflict predates independence. Ghanaians want to know what is the animal in all of this. So they should have a constitutional commission in place where you can give these feuding factions the opportunity to vent and articulate their positions, and in so doing, the peace builders or the mechanics of peace building can be in between and plug in the relevant strategies to bring in peace in Bawku. Let me ask you, if you are so aggrieved and you are given an opportunity to present your case, indirectly you'll be healing internally. And the good people of this country will have the opportunity to listen to the Kusasis aspect of their story, the Mamprisi's side of their story, and we leave the rest to our law enforcement agency, depending on the kind of rulings we'll get on the court. So I would suggest that whilst these mediation processes are in place, the court processes should equally go alongside. You understand? So that at the end of the day, when the court pronounces, we know where to plug in whatever. But this is the catch. People have lost a lot, and there must be some kind of reparation for these people. We cannot get any peace in Bawku if we don't put mechanisms in place to make sure that those who have suffered certain losses are compensated. And there is a catch here, and I feel so sad sometimes as a Northerner. We, the elite from the North, we contribute so much in inflaming this kind of conflicts. In the Bawku case, I think that those of us from Bawku who are privileged to have gone to school, and these various groups comes to us for advice and those kind of things, we should think about the larger picture of Bawku and don't look at the immediate gratification of the client system. Look at Bawku. It was raking in a lot of revenues to the state. The Barclays Bank at the time, it has one of the highest cash inflows in terms of cash deposit in the whole country. What has happened? And you know, terrorism and violent extremism is lurking at the corner. Look at the Sahelian state around Bawku. So if Bawku should fail, Ghana will be in dire distress in our fight against violent extremist groups or terrorism. So in the immediate term, I think that given what has gone on, the IGP should do a very honest assessment of the situation. There will be counter accusations against the regional police commander, ACP Adofim. And Adofim is from Navrongo. And I think that for the fact that he hails from the area, naturally, you will have some kind of relations. And that will compound the problem of trust. So once one part of the party is calling for his removal and he's been accused of bias, he should humbly be removed. And there should also be enhanced security forces with very clear rules of engagement. And we should also create a humanitarian corridor where those who suffer losses can get access to medical aid. And the critical thing I would suggest to the IGP is that, given the tension, they should implement temporary buffer zones between the conflicting communities, so that we don't see escalation of these things. Then we come to the medium term. You see, with the medium term is what the president mentioned, with Otumfo leading the distance. But apart from Otumfo, we should get national figures who command respect among the feuding factions. That can add to the layer of the traditional authority. And the process must be such that we must imbibe in it a very structured dialogue processes, so that we don't lose the, we don't risk being accused of favoring one side to the other. And in the long term, I think that we just have to look at our chieftaincy resolution framework through the National House of Chiefs. And I know if you look at it, if we finally get solution in Bawku, another problem that could come in Bawku is succession problems. And you know, everybody, chieftaincy has become something everybody is interested in now because of the kind of economic benefits associated with it now. In time past, chiefs used to ride horses. But today, V8. They are competing with our politicians for V8. So people think that there's so much economic benefits out there. And then we also have to look at our economic development initiatives. And you know that the youth unemployment in Bawku is a major issue. So they are just there, and so they're listing and because they are unemployed, they have vulnerability to mobilization. So that is why I think that the IGP's statement yesterday shouldn't be taken out of context. You know me, I've been very critical of our security heads because I expect so much from them, because I believe that the standards has been set so low in our democratic dispensation. So to me, he took policing into another level by infusing diplomacy. Can you imagine a very regimental institution like the police? The head is apologizing to civilians for excesses his men or women might have committed to them. That should tell Ghanaians that he has one motive, how we can bring peace to Bawku. So with the a statement of giving Bawku youth priority in recruitment.
It should not be taken out of context.
It shouldn't be taken out of. It's not the first time it has happened. My senior brother is here.
Great.
We used to have regional recruitment.
So let me go to your senior brother now. So the matter in Bawku, of course, we've discussed this many times. It's come up again. What is the surest way to do? Otunfo, or what should we do?
My lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Herita Mensa Bunsu, now a Supreme Court judge, says that it is not by accident, or it was for good reason, that God in creating us gave us the mouth and the tongue so that we can communicate. And that when we fail as human beings to communicate with each other, conflict is inevitable. So, and in talking to each other, you must identify the critical mass of people who want to change the status quo and use them as a catalyst for the change. It's totally unreasonable and unacceptable to continue to have ethnic conflicts in the northern parts of this country, and particularly in Bawku. Long before the conflict erupted, Kusasis were marrying Mamprusis. Mamprusis were marrying Kusasis. Our majority leader is a product of that relationship. Today, I don't know whether he will be accepted totally or completely as a Kusasi, or whether he will be accepted as a Mamprusi. So he's found in between. Probably that's why they went and burnt his house. Now, so we need to look at the issue dispassionately. And dispassionately we must, as a people. This issue is not our creation. This issue is part of the colonial legacies. It's not our creation. The Kusasis are acephalous, just like the Konkombes are acephalous. They did not have a centralized system of governance, local administration. They didn't have. And so, when Lord Lugard came to make administration, the cost of administration easier for the British government, he decided to experiment his indirect rule, ruling the areas through the institution of chieftaincy. So the Fafares had no chieftaincy. So now the Burganaba was a creation of the British government. And that's why for a very long time, the Burganaba was installed. Not that the Nigerians the Mamprusis had conquered.
Yes.
No. It was just hierarchical to ensure that the British administration gets things through the chiefs. And the British administration was so powerful that if after installing the chief, and there's the story told in the President John Mahama's hometown, where the chief disobeyed the district, they were called district commissioners then. He was subjected to caning publicly. The chief was subjected to caning publicly. And so now, and so this system entrenched itself. The Preferents are not fighting the Mamprusis because, in the case of Bawku, the Mamprusi Nawa, Nayiri, did not install a Mamprusi chief. A Mamprusi chief in Bolga.
In Bolga, yes.
He made one of them a chief. But in the case of Bawku,
a Mamprusi is being installed.
He brought a Mamprusi, and you can understand. Even that time, and Putin is right. If you watch the transatlantic slave trade, Bawku was a commercial center, generating a lot of resources
in this country
for this country and even for locals. They give derived a lot of money through taxation. And so it was important for the resource of the Mapuche Empire to have their local representative in the commercial capital of Bawku for tax purposes. So you can understand why there was no Mapuche chief in Bolga, because Bolga was not known. Bolga was not, it was not a commercial capital.
Yeah.
Okay? We have a lot of things have happened. The Kusasis have grown big. In fact, in Bawku, they outnumber the Mapuche by far.
Yeah.
Now, even we as Ghanaians, when we were under British rule, the time came that we said,
enough is
it's
enough.
So you see, there can only be one solution to this problem.
Which is?
A realization of the realities of modern day Ghana. And then restorative justice.
And devolution of
power.
So that's what the Tunfor should be looking at.
What is it that the Mapuches will accept in order to let go?
Okay.
Of Bawku? What is it that they will accept?
Great.
So because for a long time, they were keeping the reins and they are going to lose out. So what is it that they will accept?
To compensate them for letting go.
So that's the opportunity cost.
Interesting points raised by both. Haruna, what's your take on that? A quick one.
I think that my seniors have made very good points on this particular matter. I have grew up to witness conflict, and I wouldn't like to applaud or clap for conflict. It has affected me one way or the other, and I would not be very happy to see my colleague human beings who will have productive lives to be engaged in conflict activities. This is a region that has been soaked with so much blood. A lot of hundreds of people have been killed through this particular conflict. Children have grew up to the sound of a gun just like a music, and some of these things has to be checked. Schools have been abandoned, hospitals have been abandoned, accessing healthcare has been a very difficult matter. Businesses have been scrambled. You go there, many of the institutions, Senate and other banks have withdrawn their services. Should Ghana Water Company withdraw their services, what is else? So I want to use this opportunity to call on the good people of Bawku, the feuding factions, to try as much as possible to give peace a chance. Bawku can get back to where it was yesterday, and it takes all of us to be able to get there. And I also want to say that I don't disagree so much with what the head of security said in there, but we should not let it look like recruiting people into the Ghana Police Service will become a rehabilitation center. We should not use it as an encouragement. We can use different moods to ensure that at least we get the people to put down their guns.
Great.
I don't know. What I wanted to avert your mind to is that probably that is his way of building the critical mass. So the discipline. In the police service, the discipline in the security agencies might help in building the critical mass of people.
Very well.
That will move to the center and see an end.
And he didn't say Kusasi.
See all Mapuche.
Very
so
well.
it's for both.
Great. So now we'll move on to the next
I don't want to debate it, but
which is Galamsey. We'll move on to the next matter, which is Galamsey. Now, gentlemen, now the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, has disclosed that 107 foreigners have been deported since he assumed office as part of the government's efforts to combat illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey. Among those deportees, 92 were Chinese nationals, with an additional 13 individuals said to be deported in the coming week. Speaking on the issue during an engagement with imams and Zongo chiefs on Thursday, the minister emphasized the severity of Galamsey and its impact on Ghana. Let's